All right. All right. Well, welcome everyone. First, I just want to wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day, whether you have a special Valentine or a galentine or whatever you're doing. Hopefully you guys do something fun. My hubby's going to be out of town, so that'll be weird. He's traveling so much that we might have to go out this weekend. Does anyone have any extra special plans? Nobody?
Doing the rodeo this weekend with my bestie. She's here from California. So she and her boyfriend, and then of course my husband and I, we watch her compete all weekend. She competed last weekend in Buckeye. She took the championship. Now she bumped up a division and she's competing out in Queens Creek. So that's what we're gonna be doing all weekend.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
What does she compete in?
She rides her horse and shoots.
Oh, nice.
So she's now a 6-time world champion, national champion. So she's won Queens Creek for the last 2 years. And then this year she just took Buckeye. She's got Nevada, Las Vegas, Texas, California, and of course here, Arizona. So yeah, it's really fun. She brings her horse out. I have a horse, if you didn't know that I do. And I keep it out at this ranch out in Waddell. So we had 2 open stalls. So she brought her horses out. So we've been riding all week, even in the rain. It was so nice.
Oh, awesome. How fun.
But there's going to be 225 people that compete this weekend. So it'll be interesting.
Oh, wow. Well, that's cool. That's exciting.
It's kind of fun, different divisions. It goes all the way up from 1 to 6. And man, when you start watching those in 6, it's a nail biter because they ride so fast and the horses get so low.
Oh, wow.
So it's actually a little nerve-wracking, but it's fun and exciting too.
Well, that sounds fun. That sounds more fun than my weekend.
So if anybody is looking for anything to do that's free this weekend, Queens Creek over there, they have the big thing going on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Nice. We'll enjoy that. Oop, my thing's not going.
Yeah, this weekend's Chinese New Year. It lasts for 2 weeks.
Oh, cool. What do you do for Chinese New Year?
We don't know yet.
Okay.
We just go with whatever comes on a plan.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nicki Minaj, I'm at the
Oop.
Someone's making menage out there.
I heard that. Hello, Mara.
Hey.
We got Michelle the code, but I don't know if she got on. Do we need to skip this and come back?
No, I'm here.
Oh, hey,
Okay.
Michelle. Sorry about cutting off that passcode.
That's okay.
I couldn't find it.
Courtney got it for me. I'm like, if I go
Thank you.
out of this, it'll take me 20 minutes to get back
Yeah.
in. So anyways, we've got Michelle here with us, and we are building out a Bliss Realty merchandise site. So anyway, Mara and Michelle are going to tell you guys more about that.
Well, I think Michelle is. We have been looking for a company to offer merchandise, all kinds of tchotchkes or whatever you need for events or pop buys, or if you just want to wear stuff. But that you can go in and select what and then have it shipped directly to you. That way we're not collecting money, we're not having to store merchandise, and I worked on this all last year, and then Michelle is freaking amazing. So this is her company. Her daughter races, and they've made tons of stuff for her daughter's racing gear also, so in the school. So I'll let Michelle talk. She's built out our site and is starting to upload items. So
Hi. So what I did is I went for my own site and kind of built out custom stores so that you guys can have a direct link, and if your agents want to pick out whatever it is, we kind of have to know ahead of time what you guys might be interested in so that I can kind of gather the information and the pricing and get it up there. what I sent over, did you share the link, Maura?
I have not, but I will. I can.
Okay. So I sent over just kind of an example with just some basic minor stuff in there. Nothing, I mean, it's all changeable. Just so you can kind of see what it would look like.
Okay.
So it would be super simple. You know, whoever they can go in, order whatever they want, and I would get it all done and ship it to them. Just, you know, that way it makes it easiest for you guys.
Do you want me to email you list of items? Do you want me to get some from the agents of what they're looking for?
Yes, then I can get
Okay.
on and, you know, do the mock-ups for the website. And, you know, if there's certain styles, I just threw up a t-shirt up there, but if there's certain styles for polos or jackets or whatever the promotional items are, I can gather all that up and then get it on your page.
Okay. Do you, is there a certain amount for shipping, or is it all based off the item and the weight? Or is there an
Um,
item minimum?
There's no minimum. That's kind of that's
Okay.
kind of the basis of my business, you know, for especially for smaller businesses that can't afford large orders.
Yeah.
And then for this, it works great too. So, I will figure out shipping for you guys because, I think it's set up right now for based on weight, but I can manually go in and override any of that.
Okay.
And figure, you know, kind of figure that out on my end.
Cool.
My shipping costs are pretty minimal because I've got great accounts set up. So
Okay.
for now, ignore the shipping costs if you're looking at it to do anything.
Well, and I know like logos, oh yeah, USB storage drives, large coffee mugs, Courtney's saying. Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah,
USB
so
storage.
if you guys have items, you know, I was thinking chapstick, hand sanitizer, stuff that you guys, whatever you're wanting, you could pass out at open houses. If you're hosting a little event, if you're networking, whatever you've got going on, if you're out, I know one of our agents hosts a huge, what is it? The um, Lisa, why am I losing it's not tennis. What's the other?
I don't know. I'm not sure what you're.
It's not
Pickleball?
tennis.
It's
Pickleball.
pickleball.
That's it.
Pickleball.
Pickleball. Pickleball is huge out here, like 55 plus communities. So pickleball items, maybe. For you
I've
guys
actually
that
done
don't
a bunch of the
know,
pickleball stuff lately.
okay. Okay. I'll see what I can find. My brain is a little tired. Yeah, so if you guys want to get me a list, we'll get the site up as soon as Michelle's comfortable with some of it. She's got all of our logos, so you can request certain logos, correct, Michelle?
Yes.
Okay. She's got the black and white ones. She's got just the BLs. She's got the red for commercial. So this should be exciting. I'm excited.
Yeah, this will be good. You know,
Yeah.
this is your first person that I'm implementing this for, but I've got other
Yeah.
businesses in it as well. So this is going to be good.
Good. And your stuff lasts on items too, right? Because I know with Maddie and race car driving, like it can't just come off and
Yeah.
yeah. Is
And
it
I
all
have various, you know, if there's like a polo shirt that you want embroidered, I just need to know
right?
you know, if you want the embroidery on there, because I can embroider. I do direct to garment printing, and I also do deep direct to film, so it's kind of like an iron on.
Okay.
And then sublimation. So the sublimation stays on really well, especially for the hard surfaces. And then the other option for that, and you know what I'll do is for some of this,
Maybe
I'll
do
send you
those
some
options.
samples.
Okay.
I can send you some samples too, so you kind of know what you
Okay.
maybe want. Because there's another like it's like a sticker, but goes onto hard surfaces, but it doesn't come off. So it's great for like cups and stuff, all dishwasher safe. So I just need to,
Cool.
I'll send you samples so that way you know that it's good.
Okay. Well, and I think maybe while you and I can talk, we can have that as a drop down so the agents can select which they want on what item.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you guys have any questions? Crickets.
They've been
Well,
putting
Michelle is really good at this. Yeah, huh?
the stuff they want in the chat. They've been putting that in there.
Okay.
Oh, I will go in there.
Michelle, are you local to the area?
Oklahoma.
She's
Okay.
in Oklahoma. She was local, but they moved. So she's been shipping out. She's working with, was it a hair salon? She's doing racing products, car racing.
Yeah, there's, I mean, lawn maintenance companies, different, different companies that do work for racing, you know, like carbon fiber or so forth. I shipped a bunch of stuff up to a dog trainer in Washington. So, I mean, it's easy to ship stuff.
Yeah,
Cool. Thank you.
cool. Awesome. Well, if you guys think of anything else, you can send it in a chat to Michelle too, if you want.
Yeah, I'm just kind of taking notes on what you put in the chat right now.
Okay, and I'll have them reach out to me too. I'll send you an email list.
Okay.
Thanks, Michelle.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited. I know this is something that Mara's been working on for quite some
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
Trying to find exactly what we were looking for has been difficult. So,
hard. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I hear you. I've been working on trying to figure out how to make this work on my end. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, scarves.
okay.
Or beanies.
Oh yeah, beanie. I'll freaking wear a beanie.
What about like a crossover bag or like a fanny pack?
That's a good idea too. All those young kids always have those.
Yeah, it's like
true.
Lululemon. Yeah.
Yep. My nieces, that's like all they have. They're like attached to them.
Cool. Well, any ideas, you guys text them or email them over to me. That way Lisa's not bombarded. And then once the site's like good to go, that we feel comfortable, then I'll get that up on the agent info site and Michelle's info too. So yeah.
Yeah, if
Awesome.
you know, if anybody has any questions for me, my email is on the site too and my phone number. So, and it's just
Okay.
my daughter and I working, so you'll get the personal, the personal interaction.
Yeah, but you do good work. So I've
Yeah.
seen it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Lise.
Thanks. Before I move on, I didn't make a slide for this, but it just came to me and I want to say it before I forget. I was just informed by WeServe of all the agents that haven't paid their board dues, and there's quite a few of you. So just a reminder not to forget. I know like we get busy and that just goes out the window, but they are close to cutting you guys off. So I forget if it's the 12th or the 13th of February, you're going to lose your MLS and your transaction desk and whatever else if you do not pay. So just know that they're looking for that, and there's quite a few of you that haven't gotten to that yet. So just a reminder.
Well, and Lise, I think if they jump over to Par's prorated now, right? So I think it's a little cheaper than the WeServe.
Okay.
I don't
know.
think WeServe prorates. You can go on their websites and look at the different fees.
Oh, probably. I'm guessing like if you weren't already with them, like if you're renewing and you didn't renew, you're going to get the late fees and all the other stuff. So yeah, that is a good point. You could jump to a different one and it'll be prorated and join that one, and you're not going to have the late fees and stuff. The
Heck
other
yeah.
one charging you. So that's it. That's a good little trick.
Yeah, I know they're all competitive, so, but at
Yeah.
least you can go out and try, you know, so.
And I think Par in general is a little cheaper, or it used to be. I think like Scottsdale's the most expensive typically. So yeah. So just a reminder before I forget and before you forget. Ooh, why is it not clicking over here? Hold on. Okay. So last month we talked about the custom company gifts, and they are completed. Now, Mara, I will tell you, I went to Facebook and I put in the search term under gifts, and they're not showing up yet. But
It
it also,
just showed up today.
I just did it right for the meeting, but it could just be me because I am
Maybe.
I'm a social media dummy, so.
I did it from Instagram. I just shared like a fire pit with a fire and added the spinning BL.
Okay. So they
So
are,
they're all loaded. Yeah.
Yay.
So if you do searches, we have custom bliss. Is it GIFs? I don't
Yeah,
even know.
GIFs.
GIFs.
I don't know.
They're in there. And then I will list, well, that's the information right there. So I was waiting, we're going to put it on the agent info site. So you can actually reach out to them and you get a code for 25% off. So you can upload your headshots and what you want, and they'll create custom GIFs for you with the bliss, the signs, open house, whatever you're wanting to do. So they made some with me, which I will probably never use. But I was like, well, how do my agents get this? So that's what you do. If you want your photo holding the sign or next to it, or I don't know if that's important or not, but but we're out there now.
So
I
they
haven't
can,
tried on Facebook.
yeah, I couldn't find it on that. I tried Facebook and it didn't come up, but maybe I was doing it wrong, which is very possible with me.
Yeah.
So like we have the Bliss ones they can search out and use,
Yeah.
but if they want
Yeah.
custom ones, they can order it and get the
Correct.
25% off. So,
Yeah.
so we'll put all that up for you guys, but it is here, but it'll be on the agent info site as well. So those are up and running.
Which I gotta say, they added all the logos and the bliss too, so that now you don't have to put those in. If you're gonna use those signs, then you don't have to add them to your marketing pieces too, so. Or they should be in there.
Yay. All right. Now we're gonna see if my video actually works, because it never works when I embed it, but that's okay, because it's short. I don't think it's gonna work. I don't know why it doesn't work once I'm online. But anyway, I want to just bring up this. I can just tell you what it says. I get asked a lot about like contract cancellations and how does my buyer cancel? And obviously the main one is your Benzer. You're going to want to cancel within that inspection time period, but there are other options for canceling. And this is why it's so important to know what your contracts say and those contract timeframes. Like probably the other biggest one you can cancel on is the HOA docs. Once your buyer receives those, they have 5 days to review and cancel the contract if they don't like what's in there. And I have saved a few of you with that didn't know that, that called me and was like, what do I do? And I'm like, well, when did your buyer get the HOA docs? You've got 5 days to cancel and say you don't like those HOA CC&Rs. So, yeah, so that's kind of like the second biggest one that a lot of times you can get away with canceling if they miss their Benzer cutoff. I mean, obviously you have the appraisal, but it kind of has to like not appraise for you to be able to use that one. So those are kind of your biggest ones, but the main thing is just to know what your contract says and what those different dates are. You know, it's important so you can best help your client. So I just kind of wanted to quickly go over that since it's something that comes up quite a bit. Oops, I don't know why it's not working. There we go. Okay, so last month we kind of talked about,
Hey, Lise,
yeah,
we're starting to see, I know a couple of agents have reached out and they're asking about earnest money being hard again, waiving contingencies. So really it's up to your buyer, but our job is to explain that properly, right? If
mhm.
you're gonna make your earnest money hard, that means if the buyer cancels, they don't get their earnest money back. If you're gonna waive the appraisal contingency, then make sure that you're running comps, you're confident, or that your buyer has the money to pay the difference between the sales price and the appraisal. So why we're seeing that, I don't know. I think the sellers are getting greedy for some reason, but as long as you're explaining it properly, then your buyer should be able to make a good decision. But you know, I wouldn't do anything until after your inspection period. So, you know, just be on guard.
And there's also in additional clause addendum, there is already pre-worded wording for that earnest money going hard. So, and if I remember correctly, and of course I don't remember right off the top of my head, but I feel like it's hard, but it's not hard. It's got all these things in it that still allows the buyer to get their earnest money back. But if you're gonna make it go hard, don't make up your own wording, because you don't exactly know what you're doing or allowing or not allowing or protecting your buyer. I would just use that additional clause addendum that's already been pre-done for you. And it allows.
Lisa, oh,
What?
sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I looked at it just yesterday, because I was recording a training on it, and it looks to me like it is refundable in the inspection period, but not after. So it's kind of similar to the appraisal waiver, I guess, in some aspects.
Yeah.
But that's what, I suggest to my coaching clients is, you don't want to write that in section 8, use this one. So they can still get out in the inspection period.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely use that one. Gives a little more protection to your buyer, but sort of gives the seller something. So, last month we talked about kind of with the whole new commission landscape and what's going on with that. We kind of talked about the buyer side of things and what to do. But as a listing agent, you kind of it kind of changes the game a little for you as well. So I wanted to kind of discuss what that looks like for you guys and how maybe you can best explain and help navigate this with your seller to have them understand and not make bad decisions like not offering buyer agent compensation, but also that you have to explain it to them that it is very much negotiable. There is no set fees, and unfortunately they can do whatever they want and you've got to honor it, but you've got options too. I mean, you can walk away, you don't have to do it. If they're being unreasonable, you can be like, I don't think I'm the agent for you. But so anyways, I was just going to go through this real quick. So, as you guys know, you have to have a compensation employment agreement with your client, which is your listing agreement. And it has to have, the start date, the end date, how much it's going to be, what the commission is. You got to have all that in writing, signed by everyone to even get a commission, which it's all done for you in the listing agreement. So it makes it easy to make sure you've got all your terms spelled out and covered. So you don't have to stress about that. But what should you advise your sellers when you're discussing that and the listing agreement and the compensation? So seller agents should discuss the amount of compensation to be paid by the seller, and to them making it clear that it's negotiable, as we just talked about, that there is no set fee, and that the amount of the compensation set forth in that listing agreement should be documented only after you have a discussion with that seller. You shouldn't just be putting an amount there and telling them to sign it if you haven't had a discussion with them about it in a listing presentation. And then you can reach out and discuss the seller's various options for offering compensation to the buyer agent. You should be explaining that to them as well and why it may be advantageous to do so. Because maybe they don't understand, especially with the news, what's going on in the news and all these lawsuits, and they don't understand why you would want to offer compensation to a buyer agent. You need to help explain that to them and make it clear why they would want to do that. So that kind of brings up some commonly asked questions. Does this mean the seller agent is obligated to offer the amount of buyer agent compensation determined by the seller? Yes, you are. If you accept employment from that seller, whatever compensation they want to offer to a buyer agent is what you need to do. So you can't just have a discussion with them and say, let's say you agree on, I don't know, let's say you agree on 6% commission, but you don't discuss that buyer agent comp with them, and you decide that you're going to take 3.5 and just give 2.5 to the buyer agent. You can't do that without having a conversation and explaining it to your seller so they know what they're agreeing to. That you plan to take 3.5 on that list side and you plan to give 2.5 to the buyer agent, and that's how you're breaking it up. You can't just negotiate a 6% commission and not have a discussion with them about how you're going to pay a buyer's agent with it and make sure they're in agreement with you. I mean, it is spelled out in the listing agreement when you put it in there, but you need to make sure they understand that and what they're signing. So, let's see. Another commonly asked question is, should a seller's agent insist that the seller allow a minimum offer of compensation to a buyer's agent? So in some instances, if you as the listing agent conclude that you are unable to effectively represent the seller and get an actual sell on the property without a minimum offer of compensation to the buyer agent, you have a duty to treat all parties honestly. So you just have to tell them, you can flat out tell them that you don't think you can sell their house if all they want to offer is $200 to a buyer agent or whatever. You don't have to take that listing. And it would be, your duty to explain to them that that's not going to cut it and why. And if they still insist on doing that, you don't have to take the listing agreement if you think that you can't effectively sell their house, if that's all they want to do. And is the seller obligated to allow their agent to offer compensation to a buyer's agent that they feel is unwarranted? Again, no. It's negotiable and the decision is the seller. So if they won't budge from their crazy offering, then you don't have to take that listing, or if you've done your best to explain to them why it's important to offer that compensation to a buyer's agent and they still won't budge, you have to make a decision on what you're going to do on your end. Oh, there we go. Can a selling agent, so the listing agent, request a different compensation? Did you have a
Sorry,
question?
Lacey. Sorry. Yes, really quick.
Yeah.
Is there any scripting or any kind of help for agents, just like a basic kind of example script of these are the reasons for, especially for like newer agents or agents who don't do a lot of listings, that might be able to help them with verbiage on explaining that to their seller, the multiple reasons, bringing a buyer, all the things.
There actually is. There is a whole bunch of stuff in AAR to help explain that. I can send you guys out some links if you want them.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, let me make a note so I don't forget. They even have a video I just watched, but I didn't like it. I thought it was dumb, so I didn't put it in here, but there's other links and different things that they have that helps explain why it's important. So a listing agent can request different compensation amounts based on whether the buyer is represented or unrepresented or dual agency. I mean, I've seen this even before this, where like in a listing agreement, it says like, if you end up bringing the buyer to, you reduce the commission to 4% instead of 6% or whatever that may be in like additional terms. So you can like also negotiate some stuff like that and put it in additional terms in the listing agreement. So like, because what's going to happen, let's say if you're the listing agent and you're communicating with an unrepresented buyer, like, first of all, how do you establish you're not representing that buyer? So, as you guys know, if you've ever done this, you have them sign the agency and they check the box as the buyer that they understand you're representing the seller, and then they sign that agency agreement. And then on the contract where they sign, you check seller on that last page, and not buyer, you check seller and they sign, like, so they know. So that's two different places you're telling that buyer that you represent the seller and not them. So you have that to make sure it's clear to that buyer, because I think you might see a little bit more unrepresented buyers here and there as things go on, because I don't know if you guys know, but there's been, I mean, they're bringing basically duplicate lawsuits. Like now, Scottsdale Association's been named. I believe AAR's been named. They're starting to name that they're just doing like these duplicate lawsuits because they won the one. So now they're starting to sue all the different boards. So they're all in lawsuits now. So, but you could also like, well, I'll get to that. So like best practice is the selling agent as the listing agent to clearly communicate to the buyer in writing, like I said, that you do not represent them. You want to do that agency as soon as possible so that they understand that they're not being represented, because we don't want any confusion there, because that can cause more lawsuits. So, you know, and then further in trying to educate that seller about the tasks and values of providing a buyer agent will demonstrate why numerous buyers desire to be represented and what may be the largest purchase of their lifetime. So if the seller wants to actually entice these buyers to view and ultimately buy their home, it could prove to be in the seller's best interest to offer some level of monetary compensation to the buyer agent. So I'll send out the list of stuff that will help you explain that and stuff to your seller, but advising the seller of the task performed by a buyer's agent may help open that seller's eyes as to why it is reasonable for a buyer's agent to be compensated for the professional services that they're rendering. Furthermore, if you don't have the benefit of a buyer agent, the seller agent will need to walk the unrepresented buyer through the transaction to ensure that they consummate the purchase and do all the things they're supposed to do. So that seller agent will incur more liability because of that unrepresented buyer as well as the seller. So that's another reason to offer that compensation, because if the buyer feels they got a bad deal, even if it was caused because they were naive in representing themselves, chances are you're more likely to get in a lawsuit, and so is that seller, because of them not being represented, which is why you would want to offer them compensation. So that's a good way to help explain that to a seller as far as the compensation goes too. And if they're adamant too about not wanting to offer one or offering a ridiculous amount, and you think it's more likely you're going to have an unrepresented buyer, like you can, again, negotiate that commission, put it in the additional side and say, look, if we get an unrepresented buyer, then my commission just went up to whatever amount, because I'm not going to take the liability and do both sides if I'm taking all this on for this amount, if you won't offer a buyer agent compensation. So you can put some different verbiage in there in that listing agreement if you choose to. So I just kind of wanted to go over that because I think it helps each other. I mean, it's going to help, you know, if you're on the buyer side, it helps if the listing agent was good and explained to their seller so that you're getting compensated and vice versa. You want to cover yourself as the buyer agent with that buyer broker agreement and the compensation that you work out. Plus, as the selling agent, you want to explain to your seller as a seller agent, sorry. So anyways, just wanted to kind of go over that since that's such a big thing right now and there's more lawsuits pending now. It'll be interesting to see how all of this plays out. At the end, it'll probably end up being nothing and just our dues are going to go up because of the lawsuits. The money they had to pay out. So we'll get to pay more money. Yay!
And Lisa, just to let everyone know, you and I are working on building that buyer broker template for Bliss agents. So
Yeah, it's coming.
just so they know. Yeah.
I will get to that. Mars,
We
waiting
don't,
on me.
well,
I admit it.
yeah, but just so the agents know, like we don't want to move fast on these things, because if we get the verbiage wrong or we miss something, right, that affects the transactions and the commission. So you know, we don't make decisions, fast. We try to review, talk it through, figure out what's best. So that's what we're doing right now, is reviewing it. And we may end up having our attorney review it at the end of the day, just to make sure too. So.
Yeah, but we didn't forget, and it is in the works. We are working on that for you guys. All right, we've got some great classes coming up next week. We've got 2 times your conversation with video. So this kind of goes along with the different video classes and things that we've been doing. And if you've been on any of their stuff, we have like a series, as you can see. They've done a really good job. I think it's been super great information for you guys. And if you missed them, they are in the classes. The
Read assist, yeah.
pre-recorded. I can see Courtney's puppy. They're in there pre-recorded, so you I can talk. My mouth isn't working. They are recorded in Sweet Assist, and you can watch them if you miss them. They are there for you. We have the Lawyer's Agent One app. They're gonna go through that with you guys on February 20th if you're interested in using that. We do have happy hour coming up in Gilbert. It'll be on the 22nd at Sandbar. That's real close to our office. It's just down the street. So hopefully we'll see a lot of you there.
And we have more in other areas the next couple months. We're just not announcing them just yet. So I feel like we're inundating you guys, but we do have them planned for March and April. So in different
Well,
parts of
I
the
am
valley.
announcing Marches because it's kind of at the beginning of March.
Okay.
And it's before the next office meeting. So I did announce it's coming. I'm just going in the order of the dates of things coming up. So our next book is Reverse Selling. We'll be discussing that February 26th at 10 a.m. So hopefully you're reading your books and you'll join us and we'll chat about the book. The next class in that series will be Expand Your Brand with Canva. I know that's another good one that I know a lot of you use Canva or want to, so that'll be another good one. That's February 29th on Zoom. And these are in March, but they're before the next office meeting. So like I said, I'm just announcing on March 5th, we're doing Turn Your Contacts into Commissions. And then the next happy hour on, it's in Peoria, is at Big's American Bar Grill, is March 7th from 4 to 6. So that's on the west side of town. For our West Siders. And I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the February birthdays. We've got Richard and Andrea and Andy. I think Andy was on here. And Brenica, I know she was on here. Pat and Sarah and Sheila. So happy birthday, you guys. Hope you're having a good birthday month. Next office meeting will be March 14th at 1. That's the second Thursday. And last but not least, we have agent recognition for February. So our agent of the month goes to Robin McVoy. She's on the Drew team. They've joined us, gosh, I think it was back in October. She's been super busy. She's killing it right now. She's like, I can't even keep up with, I don't know how she's doing it with all the stuff she has in escrow right now. So we wanted to recognize her for her extraordinary efforts. And we wanted to recognize William Chance and Michael Phillips. They got the President's Award. They've been working really hard on their business and they've got a couple deals going, and we just appreciate them and just wanted to recognize them. And we've got a Rising Star Award goes to Stacy. So she's working really hard on her business and doing all the stuff in the coaching and kicking butt. So we just wanted to recognize her for all her efforts. Outstanding open house host goes to Spring Reed. She hosted a couple open houses this past weekend, and she's really getting out of her comfort zone and putting herself out there. And we're super proud of her and the effort she's making. And the Market Resilience Award goes to Raina. She's a fairly new agent with us, and she has just jumped right in there and has already got her first contract like lickety split, and she's working it. So we just wanted to recognize her. So congrats, you guys. Yep, that was it. So that was it. That's all I got.
Yay! Everyone's always quiet. I'm like, awesome. Good job, you guys. Like, just working at it and keeping working at it, you're going to get contracts. So stay focused.
Yeah.
I'll chime in too. If I can sit and search for agents, if you have not joined the John Story coaching, if you're wanting to do that, make sure you get connected either on his emails or let me know and I'll add you. all types of content. Today's class was on Instagram and Facebook, and I had mine set up wrong. And I did his YouTube class, and I went in and changed my YouTube stuff, and I'm like, okay, you're right, you know? So yeah, so good stuff. Certain stuff, like it may not be everyone's coaching, but the information's really good. And I think we can always use new up-to-date info. So congrats on the awards, everyone.
Yeah, you guys have been doing an awesome job. I love seeing all the new contracts come in, what everyone's doing and working on. You guys are doing great. So that's all I got. So stay dry and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
All
Thanks,
right.
Lisa. Bye,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Everybody have a great day.
Bye.